Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on Lunch and Learn, episode 24 already. Did I get that right? 24? My goodness, I cannot believe it. This is almost 5 weeks now in the making. So episode 24, and we're going to talk about, 24. We're going to talk about time management tips today. I'm very excited because this is one of the, I think, most critical skills as an entrepreneur is to learn how to manage your time and know that time is one of the most precious commodities we have. You cannot get it back. It's you can make more money, you can buy a new house, you can get more clothes, you can get a new car, you can find more friends, you can get a different spouse. I mean, there's a lot of things that that you can replace, but you cannot replace time. So for me, as a mom, as a friend, as a philanthropist, as somebody who has a mission in life, for me, time is the most precious commodity that I have. So, being an entrepreneur requires great discipline in time management because you don't have a boss. You don't have anyone like watching your numbers saying, hey, where's your sales? Where's your reports? Show me your production. It's you and only you. I mean, of course you have the accountability of your upline or your team or the company, but hi everyone. But at the end of the day, you are your boss. So self-discipline in this area is crucial for long-term success. I'll never forget the day I quit my job. Back in October 1st of 2007. And I remember the first day I was, at home, and I was just kind of like sitting there looking around, like waiting for someone to say, what are you doing, Tara? Get to work, Tara. And I was like, I remember like how weird of a feeling it was that I didn't have a boss anymore. Like, that's it. I'm it. So it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I realized that my legacy, this business, being an entrepreneur, is solely up to me. So time management is one of those skills that you have to have. It's a core discipline that will largely determine not only the quality of your life, but the quality of your business. Now, time management should go for everything. If all of a sudden you're learning that your relationships are stressed, you're yelling at your kids every morning because you're always late or whatnot, or even your health. A lot of people say, oh, I would work out, but I don't have time. Oh, I eat fast food because it's faster. I don't have time to prepare meals. Like, the bottom line is, guys, you all have time. We're just choosing low priority things that fill up the time. Like my son the other day, my son gets a 4.85 grade point average. My son gets a 4.85. I hardly have time, or I hardly have a reason to yell at him, but he plays video games. And he came to me and I said, you really should have a job now that you're driving, you're going to need gas. And he's like, well, my dad doesn't want me to have a job and I don't have time to have a job. I'm like, whoa, wait. You play no less than 30 hours of video games a week. Don't tell me you don't have time, right? But to him, that's a priority. So it's usually you're choosing low value activities, right? When an entrepreneur says, I don't have time, but then I see him posting on Facebook, I just watched 4-hour Netflix marathon. Well, went 4 hours that you could have invested in your business this week, and you could have made a lot of calls. You could have made a lot of headway. You could have had some successes. So don't even ever say you don't have time. And for those of you who are thinking, do I have enough time to build this business? Go back to one of my earlier episodes on how you can build a business, doing everything you need to do from recruiting, prospecting, inviting, presenting, doing team calls, and personal development in about 8 hours a week. And of course, for those of you who want to give up the whole 20 hours of TV, I think the average American watches like 27 hours of TV. Now, that is going to be skewed by the fact that an elderly or a retired person will probably watch a lot more. But I would say the average person watches a good 15 to 20 hours a week. I mean, look at a man. A man could crush out 9 hours just on Sunday football, right? So time is irreplaceable. Time is irretrievable. Once it's gone, you can't have it back. You can't replace it with someone else. So you have to really be disciplined in this area and do the things you need to do, right? So if you have a health goal and you to make time to go work out. You need to make time to prepare healthy meals. I mean, that's just a discipline. It's just an excuse. So don't make that excuse that you don't have time to be healthy. Everyone has time to be healthy. Just say, I choose not to. So you can't save time. You can only spend it differently. You can reallocate it. You can, and so one of the biggest tips I can give you is that you need to prioritize. What I always tell people when they're brand new in this and they're like, can I do this? What time do I have? I say, get out a calendar for a whole week and print it out. Maybe like go and print out a blank 1 week calendar and write down, Monday, Tuesday, all the whole week and say, okay, what do I have to do? And write everything you have to do. So if you work, you're going to block out, 8 to 5 or whatever your work schedule is. Block all that out. And then say, okay, well, this is driving time. And then in the driving time, you might want to insert, personal development. And in like, let's say, at nighttime when your kids are sleeping, it's like maybe they go to bed at 8:30 and you're up till 10:30. Those 2 hours could be following up, sending emails. It could be social media. It could be, again, personal development. It could be, working on your calendar. And then there's like those golden hours. And this is network marketing training. So we're assuming that a lot of people build around a job, a schedule, children. And the golden hours in this industry is usually from probably 6 to 8. That's prime time for network marketing. That's when people, especially like maybe 6:37, when people are done with dinner, they're ready to hang out. That's why TV is called prime time, because people are always done with everything and are ready to sit in front of a television at 8 o'clock. So 7:30 is a great time to have a launch call, a 3-way call, an in-person meeting. 8 o'clock, 8:30, that you can actually still do, get home from work, put dinner on the table, get your homework, get your kids doing homework, or, schedule your priorities. And then you can have that hour and a half. And to be honest, like if it takes you longer than an hour to do any kind of presentation, whether it's an in-home meeting or in a web-based webinar meeting, a Zoom, a launch call, if you're presenting for more than 30 to 40 minutes, what are you even talking about? If your company doesn't have a tool that you can easily streamline that information with either a video, a quick presentation, then you're the tool and you're not going to have duplication. Remember, it's not what works, it's what duplicates. I can sit up and do the entire presentation, but I know that 99% of the people who are working, I don't work. I work for myself, but I do this full time. So I don't have a 40-hour week job. I can afford to learn and do the presentation. But you got to think of the average person sitting there that's going to build your business is still working, or they have, a full plate. They haven't freed themselves up for time yet. And that's a trade-off that happens over time. You got to choose a sequence of event. You got to assess everything you do of high value to low value. And I want you to be honest. I mean, if you really want to be kick ass at this, remember only 1% of the population goes on to be uber successful. About 3% of the US population makes a combined household income of $250,000 a year or more, and probably only 5% of the households make a 6-figure income. So we're talking about mega success. You got to do what the mega successful, do. So I can give you all these, tips, and I can tell you all the theory, but unless you go out and do it, it's not going to make a difference in your life. It's not going to translate into results. So if I were you, I would follow yourself around for a week with a calendar and get one with like the times like this. This is someone sent it to me for free. It's actually a nice, but I don't know if it's for me, but like, let's say like this is going to be backwards, but this is August 1st through the 7th. And it also has time from 7 a.m. to 9. So there's like an hour by hour in every day. So I would sit there for a week. If you really, really, really want to find out, and these are for people who want it. So if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. So if you want something bad enough, find yourself, documenting everything you do. Okay. So go back and reflect every couple hours. Say, okay, well, what did I do from 5 to 6 today? So I got home, I put dinner on. Can my spouse do dinner twice a week? You know what I mean? Like, okay, what nights do you want to be out of your house? I do recommend that you build local way before you try to build on Facebook or FAR, because there's something magical about building local, by the way, that is incredibly powerful in network marketing. You can create trust, you can create relationships, you create community, you create culture that is nice, that you just have something local going on. So try to get out of your house. For me, my first network marketing company, I said, I'm going to get out of my house at least once. My goal is 2 every week. And I did that for 15 straight months. And lo and behold, after 15 months, I was making $35,000 a month. So that was discipline though. So get out your calendar and say, you know, when am I watching TV? When am I scrolling Facebook for an hour and a half? When am I watching Netflix? You know, when am I doing something that's low value? And you need to really gauge your activities from low value to high value. Obviously, watching TV, scrolling Facebook, going to happy hour is fun, but it's very low value. And then things that are higher value are working out, family time, and business time, you know, depending on what your goals are. Again, this is not for everybody. This is for people who have goals. So if you're sitting there going, I don't want to cut out football, like somebody does, like don't bag on football. You can watch football, but while you're watching football for 9 hours, I'm building a business that's going to pay me, you know, millions of dollars, and it's a choice. I love football too. I love my Cal Bears, and if it's on at 7:30 on a Saturday night, I'm going to sit and watch it. But am I going to sit and watch football all day every day? No. You know, we're only intrigued by watching things like football and American Idol and all that stuff because we're watching people live their dreams, and it's exciting but you know what that football player did and how many times he's practiced that play to play 14 minutes in a game or whatever it is? I actually did the math one time, probably around 40,000 hours. About 40,000 hours that quarterback has thrown a ball to a receiver, and so they make it look flawless. They make it look easy. But when you do anything for 40,000 hours, you're going to be world class, which is why, you know, Tom Brady, or I'm not any fan of anyone. I was a 49er fan, but I don't like Colin Kaepernick, so I don't know. Anyway, when you watch them score that touchdown, it looks easy. No, they just did it for 40,000 hours. While you were partying in college, they were playing. While you're partying in your early 20s, they were practicing every day, all day, 50 hours a week, getting in their skill. Look at Steph Curry. Steph Curry actually lives 3 miles from me. He was the MVP 2 years in a row for 2 or 3 years in a row. And he plays for the Warriors. And he was told a few years ago, like 6 years ago, that he was too short. He was not tall enough and not skilled enough to be to be a leader in the NBA, to be a good player. And now he's the MVP, right? Because why? Because he said, forget you. And he took a basketball and he practiced for 10, 12 hours a day. And now he's one of the best in the world. So you can do whatever you want with your time, but I'm going to teach you how you can take your time and turn it into results. And that's the bottom line here is, Batara, like my favorite show. I've been watching it since 1963. Great. Well, while those actors are getting paid for you to watch them, you're sitting there not doing anything. So this is not to tell people they shouldn't watch TV. I'm telling you that if you want to be uber successful, which I'm assuming you all do because you're here watching it, that you're going to have to make some trade-offs. The law of the trade-off says you're going to have to give off something good to get something better. So, all right. Some things you do are 5, 10, even 20 times greater than other things, right? Like, so making a phone call or, doing a presentation is going to be far more valuable than surfing Facebook or, just even making a post on Facebook. So there are things that are far more valuable. So if you take 10 hours a week, let's say you put in 10 hours a week or 5 hours, whatever it is, 80% or 20% of the things that you do are going to yield you 80% of your results. So if you're working your business for 10 hours a week, 2 of those hours are what's going to yield you the most results. And I'll tell you what those are. They're high value activities. They're what's called income generating activities. I call them IGAs in network marketing. There's only 2 things that move your business forward. There's only 2 things that you get paid from, and you will always get paid from. If you get paid from anything else, then it's a pyramid scheme, okay? The 2 things you get paid for in network marketing is, number 1, when somebody joins your business as a customer and buys product, there are commissions paid. Now, it could pay 1 level, they could pay 10 levels. In my company, they pay 9 levels. So 9 levels. So if I help someone on my 8th level put in a customer, I know that I'm going to get paid, right? So that's an income generating activity, helping people on my team get customers or getting customers personally. The second thing that you get paid in network marketing is when somebody joins your company as a distributor and they order your product or service. As a customer. So really there's only one way, because you only get paid when people buy your product or service, period. Whether they buy it as a customer or a distributor, you are getting paid when your product or service is sold, period. So when you spend time doing activities that's going to move product, in your, whether it's personally through your customers or distributors that you've enrolled personally, or through your team, that's going to generate income. So those activities that are in those, doing 3-way calls, doing a one-on-one presentation, doing follow-up, doing maybe a home meeting, a web-based meeting, a launch call, whatever it is, those are the activities that are going to yield you income. So those are the income generating activities. So they did a study one time. They studied just general salespeople, whether it's car salespeople, realtors, insurance, etc. They found that the average salesperson only spent 45 minutes out of an 8-hour day. 45 minutes doing income generating activity, which means you're sitting there giving the information to a potential customer so that they can make a buying decision, right? And that is presenting the information, saying, here, this is our product, this is the feature, this is the benefit, this is how it'll make your life incredible, this is why you want to buy it, buy this product. So 45 minutes a day. So there are definitely some activities, they're not all created equal. So what are you spending your time doing? So the most important things are the ones that are also the scariest for people. So you have to gauge yourself, like, are you able to do those? And if you are, to the degree which you are, the people who spend the most time in those activities will make the most money. And that's just not a coincidence. It's just a fact. Let's see. Personal planning. So if you have ranked all of your activities that you do in a day, like personal development usually ranks low on people's list. I mean, yes, it's not going to earn you income, but it's going to earn you income long term. So I would say that that should be something that you should incorporate. And personal development is probably the easiest thing around the busiest schedule, because you can do it while you're driving. You can put in an audio. You can listen to audiobooks. Let's say you drive. Like, Tara, I commute an hour a day. Great. Then you could literally do an hour a day of personal development. Turn off the music. Turn off the radio talk show and the celebrity gossip and the sports recast. Like, who cares about all that stuff? Put something in your ear. And if you did that for an hour every day, when the average person is doing 10 minutes a day, you're going to grow 6 times faster. So instead of 12 books a year, you're going to read 72 books a year or listen to 72 books a year. You'll have the equivalent of 6 PhDs in any subject. So you want to be world class? You want to quit your job? All you have to do is in 1 year, you can give yourself the equivalent of 6 PhDs if you're commuting an hour a day. Like, hi, like what? So I'm so sick of people saying they don't have time. It's just you're choosing to spend it differently. Okay. And number 2, I guess that was kind of 2, but let's just say 1 is figure out what you need to do. Okay. Number 2, think before you act. Every time you're doing something, think, is this going to yield me the results I'm looking for? Right? I mean, I do catch myself on Facebook. I get on there to do a post or to promo the Lunch and Learn. And then I all of a sudden, I sit there and I'm like scrolling. And my husband's like, what are you doing? I'm like scrolling on Facebook. I watch these videos. Oh, the other day, now granted it was 11 o'clock at night. There was really not many income generating activities I could have done at this point, but I could have been reading. Oh man, I got caught on Tasty for like a good 40 minutes, and I probably watched like 20 or 30 Tasty videos. So the good news is I put them to use, and I made some good little tasty recipes for my family the next day, and I was doing healthy ones. So that was, I guess, helping me get to my health goal. But anyway, Tasty. Oh my gosh. So think before you act. Before you turn on the television, say, you know what, have I made my quota, or whatever the goal you set for yourself? And you should set yourself goals. We'll do some goal setting. Let's do goal setting next week, maybe. Have I made my calls today? Have I made my follow-up? Did I get back to that person on Facebook? My best friend keeps asking me for information. Have I given her the information yet? So, before you do something of low activity, it's okay to watch TV. Like I finally, after 6 years, I finally said, well, I can watch like an hour a day, 5 days a week, 5 hours. It's still, less and less and less. But it's after I do my calls. It's after I do my follow-up. It's after I get my kids to bed. It's after I do my social media. It's after I do my preparation for my Lunch and Learn. It's after I upload my videos to YouTube. It's after all the things that I want to get done. It's after my personal development. And then 11 o'clock at night, if I'm not tired, I'll watch a 45-minute show. don't do that first. So what we're trying to teach my son, who we're going through battles with my 17-year-old, because he does get a 4.85 grade point average. He thinks he's God's gift to humanity, and which is great. I'm glad he's so personally, high on himself. But it's like we're trying to teach him, like, it's okay to play video games because clearly it's not affecting your GPA. But how about play video games after? So what he'll do is he'll come home, he'll play video games for 2 hours, do an hour homework, and then play video games for 2 hours, and then have 3 hours of homework, and he wants to do on the tail end. No. We're trying to teach him, why don't you just get in and literally just get your stuff done? Like, why don't you come home and knock out those 4 hours of homework and then play your game afterwards? So it's okay if you want to watch TV. It's okay if you want to watch a football game. It's okay if you want to play a game or go to happy hour. But it's a trade-off. You have to do what you need to do first. You don't see successful people sitting around on Facebook and television all day. That's just, it's impossible, because you need to invest time in your business. And again, you're never going to get back that time, and you have to spend it differently, doing different activities if you want different results. Because, people say, well, I'm not going to give up my favorite football game or whatever. I'm not going to give up 8 hours of football because I play fantasy football and I've done it for 10 years. Great. Well, you're also never going to get out of that job you hate. So it's a law of the trade-off, guys. So you might need to discontinue some things. You might need to put them on the back burner. Like when I got started in network marketing, my husband and I were both working full time with 2 small kids. I asked him to give up his basketball league because I said, if you're playing basketball every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'm gone every Monday and Wednesday, then we're going to see each other a couple nights a week. That's not really the kind of quality of life I want. So can just for a while I'm getting my business launched, can we just make a plan? And he, even though he wasn't doing the business, he wasn't emotionally invested in it, he just kind of was my cheerleader, he just watched me. He did that because he knew it was important to me. And it only took me 7 months to be able to quit my job. But we had to make sacrifices, great sacrifices in those 7 months. I'll tell you, in those first 7 months, I was not watching a minute of TV. I was not doing a lot of social activities at all, probably just the bare minimum. He wasn't playing basketball, and I was spending time, with my work, my family, and my business, period. I made great sacrifices. And I tell people, in business, you're going to get to a point, because your plate's already full, right? Right now, you think your plate's already full. So you're going to get to the point where you're going to push yourself and you're going to add more, and you either break and you quit, which happens to most people. That's why there's an MLM graveyard. Or you break through and you keep going, and you realize all of a sudden those priorities, like what was a show I used to watch? Back 2007, Desperate Housewives. I had watched Desperate Housewives for like 5 years, and I started doing my business. And 4 years into it, I went back on my DVR, and I had 4 whole seasons that I had never watched. And I said to myself, is that really worth like 50 hours of my time? Like, what is that going to do for my life? Mindless entertainment? So you got to trade. Like, entertainment, it's mindless and it feels good, but you know what else feels good? Watching someone stand on stage because they just got a new rank and you helped run them for the last 3 years. You know what else feels good? Watching someone get healthy. You know what else feels good? Watching someone break through their barrier and have a little self-esteem. So it's a law of the trade-off, guys, that, some activities are great. I mean, man, happy hour is fun, and, going to the mall is fun, and getting pedicures and manicures is fun, and watching TV is fun, going to the movies is fun. But is it going to create your legacy? Is it going to make you happy in your relationships? Is it going to make you healthier? Is it going to put money in your bank? No. In fact, television sucks money out of your wallet every 7.5 minutes by a commercial that is there to sell you something, to get you to buy something, donate something, or to use a service. Period. End of story. That's why they do it. And they're like, oh, but Tara, I'm watching Netflix. Well, you're paying for that too. A good thing to do also is to rate your activities every single day, what you need to get done. So say you're going to do your personal development, you're going to do your follow-up, you're going to do your calls, you're going to do your, prospecting, you're going to do social media, whatever, is rate them and then say, what is the consequence for me not doing this, right? The consequence may be I don't lose weight. The consequence may be I don't have time, so I'm yelling and stressed at my kids. The consequence may be if I don't do this thing, I'm not going to get my business going, right? If I don't make my phone calls, if I don't make my follow-up calls. So are you going to have severe consequences are my life will be exactly the same in 5 years, because if you don't take control of your time, it will just gonna pass anyway. Your 5 years is gonna pass anyway. In 5 years from now, you could be fit and thin if that's what you want. You can have all the money you could ever dream about in your bank account, or you can be exactly where you are today. So the choices that you're making today, the value you're putting today on the things that are in your life today, and remember, like 99% of the things you do today are the same as you did yesterday, because they're habits. Like sorry, I got an alert that says I have no, it says it was gone. So I think I'm back. Okay, so 90% of the things you do today are the same things you did yesterday, because they are a result of habits. So you have to change your habits. You have to change your self-discipline. You have to be more proactive with your time management. And the last tip is practice single tasking. Single tasking is when you have to do a bunch of things, you just do it. Do one thing at a time. So I'm the worst at this. This is something that I've really had to be intentional about, is like, oh I got to upload my video, and then I got to go do this, and then I got that call, and then I start just jumping around mentally, and then all of a sudden I just take little bites out of it, and I have 5 plates of food with 1 bite taken out of, right? So don't do that. Like, go and get a task and just do it until it's done. So now I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna upload one of my lunch and learns to YouTube. And so I go and I sit there and I go through the process, which only takes 5 minutes. Then if my phone rings, I'll take my phone. My phone's recording, so I can't show you, but I'll take my phone and I'll put it down and say, okay, I'm not looking at my phone. Another thing is I think a lot of 3-way calls would go a lot faster if we weren't looking at just being distracted. So I turn off my Facebook now when I'm on calls, so that I turn it off on my phone or on my computer, because I can, people are like, are you even still there? And then I don't listen, and I'm like, what did you just say? And so I've had to be disciplined at being present when I'm present, and being mindful of whatever I'm doing. And I find that I'm getting a lot more value out of my time and out of those activities because I'm present. So if you're on a call, get the call done. A 3-way call shouldn't be more than 15 minutes. A presentation shouldn't be more than a half an hour. It shouldn't be more than 15 minutes after the tools, because you shouldn't be the tool. If I'm going to go post on Facebook, I post on Facebook, and then I do not go to the news feed, because if I go to the news feed, I know it's like a black hole. You just get sucked in. So make sure that you keep yourself focused. Make sure you keep yourself on track. Make sure you're keeping yourself doing what tasks that you set out to do. So if you sit down and say, I'm going to make 5 phone calls, don't make 3 phone calls and then get carried away because something happened in the backyard, and then you go outside and all of a sudden you start gardening, right? Like, if you're going to sit down and do 5 phone calls, do 5 phone calls. Like when I say, okay, right now I'm going to go do follow-up, and I go to my, my list follow-up, I'm going to do those at least, whatever I set my goal is, 5 follow-ups. And then also just think, there are different activities. This is kind of a side note. In network marketing, there are different activities that you need to be doing more of at different times of your business. So in stage 1, we call it phase 1 in your business. And by the way, you should never get out of phase 1. I'm not out of phase 1. And phase 1 is recruiting. Phase 1 is sharing your products and opportunity with people who can make a decision whether to buy your product or to join your business. So phase 1 is the sharing the information. This is how not out of phase 1 I am. I've been in the industry for 9.5 years. I've been in my current company this is my 14th month. And just this month, it's November 16th today of 2016, for those of you who are watching this in the future. Just this month, I have enrolled 11 new people, 6 distributors, and 5 customers. And most people 6 is what they enroll in their lifetime. And I found 6 new people after enrolling hundreds over the last 9.5 years. I've enrolled 6 new distributors and 5 new customers. Why? Because I'm always in phase 1. So to get your business off the ground, and whatever industry you're in, there's always a phase 1. So in real estate, it might be making contacts, letting people know, sending out letters, door knocking, flyers, open houses, whatever. That's just an example. Phase 1 in network marketing is talking to people, saying, hey, I just launched a business. I'm looking for customers. I'm looking for business partners, and I'm looking for referrals. Who do you know? Take a look at this information, because if nothing else, mom, if nothing else, sister, if nothing else, best friend, you might be able to refer me something. God, that light's just so bright. You might be able to refer someone to me. Referrals are the most valuable thing in our business. And if you're not calling all your lists because you think you have to sell them, you're missing out probably on 80% of your sales by asking people, who do you know? So phase one, you should spend most of your time in building your list, building your network, and exposing people to your business, exposing people to your products or services, and looking for customers. Because once you start getting customers, then you're going to start getting results. And once you start getting results, then you're going to have belief. Now, I tell people, if you're scared to talk about the business, which is weird because somebody who got you to say yes because they talked about the business, right? But you have a weird time talking about the business. That's weird to me. But anyway, I say if you're scared to talk about the business, then go do this. Go create a story. Go get, let's say you have to make, let's say you get 40% commission, right? I'm going to use our comp plan. You get 40% commission. I know if I go sell $100 worth of product, I'm going to make $40. So if I go have a good party and I get 10 women who want to buy, or 10 women and men who buy our products at $100 each, that's $1,000 in sales. I'm going to make $400. If I invested $300 to get in a business and I made $400, that gives me confidence to go to every one of my friends and say, hey, I invested $300 in a business. I made $400. I'm already in profit. And that's only my first week. Can you imagine where I'm going to take this over the next year? All of a sudden I have confidence to go to my friends because I believe that this won't hurt them a lot. You're only afraid to share your business with someone if you think it will hurt them. Like if you think it's going to cost them too much money, or you think it's going to waste their time, or you think they're going to fail. And what I've learned is don't do that. And I don't know how we got on that rabbit trail, but anyway, time management, the things that the income generating activities, being in phase one all the time. And as you grow a team, you will spend a little bit more time, and you break off, and that'd be a really good lesson. You break off of it, but you should always be in phase one. I will never be out of phase one. And here's why. And I said it last episode, is because if I'm out of phase one, then I'm out of touch with today's time. I'm out of touch with today's technology. I'm out of touch with today's objections. I'm out of touch with today's environment, and I can't coach someone if I'm still like the guys from Amway that learned the skills in 1950. Can you still build that way? But they don't teach social media. Why? Because the founders of Amway didn't have social media, so they don't teach it. And I have a friend that was in Amway recently, they actually tell them to avoid it. So I think that's really weird, but they're missing out a whole generation of people who are on their phones and on social media. So I like to stay current in phase one so that I can continue to teach people how to grow in this environment of today, of now. So the time management is stay one. And then of course, as you grow a team, you're going to have to build in communication. You're going to have to build in events planning. You're going to have to build in, being not just for calls for yourself, but calls within your team, right? So if you have 5 people on your team that all need 2 3-way calls that week, that's another 10 activities that are on your calendar that would be more phase 2. And then phase 3 is developing leaders, and still should be always in phase 1. Phase 3 just means that instead of being like this much in phase 1, it goes down to maybe here. But I still spend an enormous amount of time in phase 1. Why? Well, number 1, I don't want to ever stop changing lives, and number 2, I don't ever want to stop putting more people in the funnel, to grow the bit. I'm here to build a legacy. I'm not here to, just have fun for a couple of years. I'm here to grow a legacy that someday I can pass on to my children. So be deliberate with your time, be focused, be intentional, and do the activities that are going to move your business forward, your team forward, and be disciplined with it. That's the hardest thing to do. Like I said, again, if I were you guys, I would put it on my calendar to have a couple days. You don't need a whole week, a couple days where you just say, what am I doing every day, all day? Where are my holes? Where are my empty spaces where I can put activities in? Where are my stressful times? What can I do to better prepare for those stressful times? Can you get up a half an hour early? Can you get up 15 minutes earlier, right? Can you do some things at night that maybe you can prepare at night? Remember, like every day was like a hassle to get my kids ready for school. So we started putting out their school uniform at nighttime, and that actually cut down on stress. Looking through laundry baskets, I can't find my shirt, and they wear uniforms, so they can't just grab any shirt. And so we learned to prepare at night. So little things like that. But again, you only have one shot. You only have one life. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is the real deal. And so the more intentional you are with your time, the more disciplined you are, the better that the more less stress you're going to have, and you're going to see that you're going to start having success in all those areas. Again, self-discipline and time should go into all areas of your life. So yes, this is MLM training, but most of the principles I teach could really spill over to relationships, to health, and to prosperity, you know, in every area of your life. So thank you guys for time management. For those of you guys on YouTube, thank you for watching. You can shut off now. For those of you guys who are on my Facebook Live, tomorrow I will be traveling on an airplane, and I might, and I say might, be able to do my lunch and learn from the Delta Sky Club. I will be traveling, and I believe I do have a little bit of a layover. And if I don't get ugly looks for people at this Delta Sky Club, which all act like it's a library, it's so weird. If I feel like I can find an area, I will do our lunch and learn tomorrow on my way to Hawaii. But if not, I will see you back here on Friday, and I'll have some good stuff from you. I might even do a lunch and learn live from the pool in Hawaii. So stay tuned, and thank you guys again. Don't forget to subscribe. YouTube.com/create wealth with Tara. And again, I'm not list building, and this will always be general, so feel free to share it with anybody in your teams. And I thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone.